Every week on Bullseye, we close the show with a recommendation from yours truly. It's the Outshot. So I'll open this week by saying this. Rap isn't poetry. Poetry is poetry. Rap is rap. Rap is a musical performance. The MC, as Rakim, one of the best rappers ever, put it, is the microphone soloist. A poem might be sonorous, lovely to the ear, but it's still a completely different form. It's not a song. But just as some of the best poetry has great musicality, some of the best rapping is as densely, tightly packed with figurative language and surprising meaning as a poem. Often the layers of allusion and secondary meanings are hidden. Intentionally so, in fact. A marginalized culture is incentivized to speak a language its oppressor doesn't speak, right? I'll give you an example. One verse from a Jay-Z song called Threat. Jay-Z might be the greatest rapper ever, but his lyrics often read as simple. His performances, which seem completely effortless, that's sort of the point, contribute to that misperception. The truth is, Jay-Z's lyrics are a remarkable web of meanings. So, back to Threat. Basically, the song does what it says on the package. It's a threat. But that's the basis for a shifting series of linguistic tricks and feints and echoes that I think demands explication. So let's do it. He starts with an allusion to the Vegas mob.
Grown man, I put hands on you. I dig a hole in the desert, they built the sands on you.
The hole in the desert being necessary to build the Sands Casino, the famous casino, and also necessary to bury you.
Lay out blueprint plans on you.
Which incidentally is the name of Jay's first classic album, The Blueprint. In other words, if you're a rapper, he destroyed you by defining what hip-hop could be and leaving you out of his plans. He built hip-hop on top of you.
We rat pack, let Sam tap dance on you, then I Sinatra shot you, I damn you.
So who could represent the Vegas mob better than the Rat Pack, right? And who's a greater Sinatra than Jay-Z, who has the same cool, the same detachment, the same implicit threat of violence? Explicit sometimes, and who's willing to have his underling tap dance on your grave. And by the way, Davis Jr. isn't the only Sam in show business. Jay's bodyguard is named Samson.
I put the boy in the box like David Blaine, let the audience watch, it ain't a thing.
If that box is made of glass, it's the big showpiece of Vegas star David Blaine. But to put someone in a pine box while everyone watches is obviously a much scarier threat. Anyway, here's where another idea is introduced. Keep in mind this record's from 2003 when we'd just gotten ourselves into some really significant desert wars.
Y'all wish it was front. I George Bush the button.
So suddenly the desert isn't in Nevada. In this new formulation, Jay-Z will bring the full George Bush down upon you. A preemptive strike.
For the oil in your car, lift up your hood. Run it, then lift up your whole hood like you got oil under it.
So he'll do all that, not for the natural resources of the entire nation of Iraq, but for something as inconsequential as the oil in your car. And halfway through, Jay shifts meaning again, by the way, because when he says he'll lift up your hood in the next line, he's talking about your hood, not your hood. That is to say, where you live, not what covers your car's engine. He's saying that, like the president, the former president, George W. Bush, he's not afraid to lay waste to your entire community to get at one person. And that one person, that's you.
Like, cast the oil, I cast the Troy, you change your face or the bullets change all that for you. Y'all just target.
A little lighter now, actually. If you don't remember the movie Face Off, I can hardly blame you. Castor Troy was one of the protagonists who had his face transplanted. So his face changed in the very literal sense. And he also shot a few dudes, which is the kind of face change Jay is more interested in here. And there's actually another little joke here. He gets to Castor Troy through his oil metaphor and castor oil, which, of course, will change your face into what in the Bay Area they call a fizz face, which is to say the face equivalent of bleh. Anyway, with that, Jay slides back into Cars.
Y'all garages for bullets, please don't make me park it in your upper level. Valet a couple strays from the special. God bless you.
He didn't want to kill you, by the way. You made him do it. So, that's a lot, right? Let's put this thing to rest. Rap's not poetry. That doesn't mean it's not worth a close listen. That's my outshot.